94.9. Just because you do not take an interest in politics doesn't mean politics won't take an interest in you.
The funds spent were properly spent because we got them from intervention funds.
You only you waka come. There is God.
I don't know which party my wife belongs to, but she belongs to my kitchen and my living room and the other room.
Stay in tune with politics on 32 FM 94.9.
Good morning, welcome to the Podium on 32 FM 94.9. My name is OLORUNTOBA YUSUF. Good to have you join the conversation this morning. All right, this morning we have Mr. Femi Falana, human rights lawyer, senior advocate of Nigeria, joining us on the podium today to discuss some of the, issues of national question this morning. We have Mr. Femi Falana. Thank you for joining us on the podium. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Great to have you, sir. And as you know, it's a panel discussion. We have your colleague in the profession, Yomi Ogunola, with us. Mr. Yomi Ogunola, good morning, sir.
Yes, Toba, good morning. My learned silk.
Good morning,
I hope say you don't go wrong, come out to deal.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And of course, my noble professor. Good morning.
Yes. Professor Remi Ayede, Department of Political Science, University of Ibadan. Prof, good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, and good morning, Nigerians. It's a pleasure to have Comrade Femi Falana, our senior comrade, and also our senior advocate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And my friend, Barrister, good morning.
Yeah. Okay, Ms. Femi Falana, good to have you once again. I'd like us to start with, this trending issue of defamation. And I want us to look at it, in terms of what the law says, because it's something that generates a lot of controversy when somebody makes a statement about a certain individual, either a private person or somebody occupying a political office, and the person decides to take action. People talk about how there is freedom of expression, how maybe the laws are being used to gag critics or opponent of such person. So I'd like to get your thoughts regarding the position of the law about defamation. Is it a civil or criminal matter? And what does the law say in terms of, what constitutes defamation and how someone can seek redress in such cases?
Well, ordinarily, defamation is a civil action, in which case a person says, I have been defamed, my reputation has been injured, and what you are required to do under the law is to go to court to challenge the statement, and as a court to give you damages, and also order that libelous or defamatory statement or publication be stopped. There are two elements when you talk of defamation. You have libel and you have slander. Libel is when a statement is made which is alleged to have injured somebody's reputation. Slander is when it's made orally, a statement made orally. However, under the colonial regime, we had criminal defamation or criminal libel, in which case the government or the colonial regime felt that Nigerians, particularly activists and nationalist politicians, were making statements that tend to expose the colonial regime to ridicule. And so such allegations were criminalized and people were persecuted. It's also close to sedition. But under a democratic dispensation, members of the ruling class have retained the law, criminal libel. Today, only 3 states have expunged criminal libel from the statute. Lagos in 2011, Edo State in 2018, and Ekiti State in 2021. In all other states, if you make a statement considered libelous, but a public officer may ask the police to prosecute you for criminal libel. As you are well aware, one of the charges brought against the Senator Natasha is a criminal libel by the Senate President. But under a democratic dispensation, such a law should have no place. In the West African sub-region, at least 4 countries, Ghana, Liberia, Sierra Leone, and I think the Gambia, have decriminalized freedom of expression.
Right.
So what you should do here is to file an action in court where you put your own reputation in issue. The final point on this area of our law is that the government in 2015 smuggled criminal libel into the Cyber Crimes Act, whereby Nigerians, journalists, and critics are also charged from time to time for using the computer or the social media to libel people. We took 2 cases to the ECOWAS court. I'm talking of the civil society groups, SERAP and Federal Republic of Nigeria, and another case by another group. And in both cases, the ECOWAS court ordered Nigeria to expunge the criminal aspect of Section 24 of the Cyber Crimes Act. That was done in February 2024,
Right.
Whereby the areas of the law that criminalize insult, annoyance, and so on and so forth, were taken out of the law.
Right.
In spite of that, Nigerians are still arrested and prosecuted for the Cyber Crimes Act for making statements that certain big people consider libelous. Thank you.
So, thank you for the explanation. So, I mean, where exactly do you think the line should be drawn between being a critic, being an activist, and being defamatory or libelous in your statement? Because we've seen some of these cases unravel. For instance, the most recent one with Deji Adeyanju, your junior colleague in the profession, watching his interview describing Mr. Peter Obi, the former presidential candidate of Labour Party in 2023 elections. He called him all sorts of names, says it's a bigot, talked about him being a quote unquote political prostitute. And there are those who say, well, if you're in the public space, you've put yourself out there, people can criticize you, assess you. So where do you think the line is to be drawn in this case? Criticizing someone in the public space or being defamatory? Yes.
Yeah, freedom of expression, like all freedoms, are not limitless. There is no freedom that is absolute. Even the right to life. If you kill another person, the system insists that you be prosecuted, and if you are found guilty, the law will insist that you be killed too by the state, even though I don't agree with that. But when it comes to freedom of expression, you must also know that your freedom to express yourself ends where my own right to my fame, my character, my reputation begins. In other words, it is not an absolute right. And so when you are not going to make a statement about anybody, or you are going to write a statement about anybody, you must be prepared to defend your action. So, and particularly, like you have just said, for people in the political arena or in the public arena, yes, they still have their reputation. In many cases, the late Chief Awolowo sued the West African pilot on many occasions. On many occasions, they had to drag themselves. Chief Awolowo dragged the West African pilot to court for defaming him. In some of the cases, he won. And in all the cases, he won. And damages were awarded in his favor. And we have had politicians, we have governors suing for libel. I do one. I think it was Governor Fayose and against the libel, the news magazine.
Yes.
of course, we had to, we justify the publication. And there are other people who have gone to court to sue for libel. If you can justify, the case will be dismissed. If you are unable to justify what you have written, of course, you'll be asked to pay damages.
Yeah, and Mr. Falana, I'm asking the question because I remember a recent case involving the former governor of Lagos, Babatunde Fashola, where the case was taken to court. A certain individual wrote something on social media alleging that he was the one who published the judgment at the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal. And when that action was taken in court, people talked about how the government is gagging critics, or how the government wants to clamp down on those who speak up. So, I mean, for if somebody is in government and decides to seek redress, if he feels that his character has been defamed, why then is it interpreted as, being dictatorial in the approach, or why then is it interpreted as clamping down on press freedom?
Yeah, a government will be accused of clamping down on press freedom, where a public officer uses the machinery of the state to harass his political opponent. In the case of Dr. Arthur Nwankwo and the state, this was a 1982 case whereby the writer, the appellant, was alleged to have defamed Governor Nwobodo. Both of them were governorship candidates, Arthur Nwankwo of the PRP and Nwobodo of MPP. Arthur Nwankwo was convicted and sentenced to 1 year in prison. He went on appeal, and the Court of Appeal, on that occasion, struck down the provisions of the law, or criminal code relating to sedition. And I remember on that occasion, Justice Olajide Olatawura, of blessed memory, did say that laws enacted by colonial regime, for their own advantage, should not be applied by Nigeria to gag critics. If you feel offended by any publication, you must go to court where you put your own character in issue. Nigerians must resist any attempt by anybody or any group of people, any government, to gag or to erode freedom of expression, which is indispensable in a democratic society. Right. Those were the words of Justice Olatawura. In other words, if you go to court to sue for libel, nobody can accuse you of using your position to oppress critics. It is where you criminalize freedom of expression instead of going to court to put your own character in this, but where you now use the state as the police to prosecute or as the office of the Attorney General to file a case of criminal libel or a case under the Cyber Crimes Act. I'm sure that is when a government can be accused of trying to silence critics.
All right.
So instead of filing a criminal case, a government official must file a civil case.
Right. Mr. Falana, please stay with us. We need to take this commercial break. When we get back, we'll continue the conversation. We'll be back in a moment on the podium. Don't go away.
Feel better about your life.
32 FM, 94.9, the antidote to depression.
orúkọ mi ni Glory Gbélé mo wá gba owó ní 32 FM mo wá gbà lọ́wọ́ Coco Box ẹlẹ́kẹta tí màá jẹ lélẹ̀ ẹ̀yin náà ẹ ganu sí ẹgbẹ́nu sí.
jẹ pẹ̀lú Coco Box àti 32 FM ìkànnì 32 FM 94.9 pẹ̀lú àjọṣepọ̀ iléeṣẹ́ Coco Box ní fi àǹfààní 20,000 naira fún wa láti máa jẹ lójoojúmọ́ pẹ̀lú 500 naira bó o lẹ́ẹ̀tì ṣe jẹ́ àkọ́kọ́ ẹ lọ tẹ *347*253# lórí ẹ̀rọ ìbáraẹnisọ̀rọ̀ yín èyíkéyìí nẹ́tíwọ̀kì tẹ́ bá ń lò ẹ fi iye ìgbà tẹ́ ẹ fẹ́ tà sí wọ́n send account number tẹ́ ẹ lè lò lẹ́ẹ̀kan péré sí yín ẹ sanwó pẹ̀lú backup yín USSD àbí kẹ́ ẹ ṣàbẹ̀wò sí POS tó súnmọ́dọ̀ yín yẹn pẹ̀lú account number tó ti wà lọ́wọ́ yín èyí ṣe pàtàkì ìṣẹ́jú díẹ̀ péré ni account number ń fi lè ṣiṣẹ́ ó sì wà fẹ́yìí tẹ́ ẹ ta yẹn nìkan bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ bá kọ̀ láti sanwó sórí account number wọn yóò ṣàdínàgbò òkú fún yín látún ti ta lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí bẹ́ẹ̀ ti ṣe ta tó pọ̀ sí ni àǹfààní ṣe wà ń bẹ̀ fún yín láti jẹ aago 9 àbọ̀ lówùrọ̀ aago 2 ọ̀sán aago 3 àtàago 5 rọ̀lẹ́ látọjọ́ ajé Monday sọ́jọ́ ẹtì ọjọ́ Jímọ̀ náà máa yí koto èèyàn 8 ni ó máa gba 20,000 lójoojúmọ́ ẹ̀yin náà bẹ̀rẹ̀ báyìí kẹ́tẹ̀ *347*253# kẹ́ẹ̀fì 500 naira péré gbàgbẹ́mù lórí Coco Box àti 32 FM ó ti pọ̀ jù.
kò bá jẹ́ 24, 29 tàbí 32 ṣáà ti fẹ̀yìn ẹ̀ pẹ̀lú wa lórí gbogbo ìkànnì ìbánidọ́rẹ̀ẹ́ kàn tẹ 32 FM 949 fẹ̀yìn ẹ̀.
ẹgbẹ́ kan ń bẹ lóde ẹgbẹ́lẹ́gbẹ́ amplot.
àgbáríjọpọ̀ ẹgbẹ́ àwọn agbóhùnsáfẹ́fẹ́ nílẹ̀ yìí Association of Nigerian Broadcasters Ọ̀yọ́ State Chapter ń fi tìfẹ́tìfẹ́ pé gbogbo ènìyàn sí fi ayẹyẹ ọdún kan tí gómìnà ẹgbẹ́ wa ambassador Dr. Pẹ́yẹmí Àyànrìndé MC Swagger tó gorí àlééfà àti jíjẹ ìkówójọ fún kíkọ́ ilé ẹgbẹ́ wa pẹ̀lú fífi àwọn bàbá àti màmá ẹgbẹ́ jẹ tó máa wáyé ní Sunday ọjọ́ 21 oṣù kẹjọ 31 August 2025 bẹ̀rẹ̀ láago 12 ọ̀sán ní Tafo Arena Ìjókòdó Junction Sọ́gbẹ́lẹ̀ Ẹlẹ́pọ̀lì Road nílẹ̀ Ìbàdàn His Excellency gómìnà ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ẹnjiníà Olúṣèyí Abíọ́dún Mákindé lẹ́ni àyẹ́sí pàtàkì Imperial Majesty Aláàfin tìlú Ọ̀yọ́ ọba Abímbọ́lá Akínmọ̀wádé àti ọba Samuel Adébáyọ̀ Adégbọlá àjọbọ Olúrinwàn Ẹlẹ́rùwà tìlú Èrúwà àwọn ni orí adé kalẹ̀ lọ́jọ́ yẹn o Mọ́gàjí Kọ́lá Akíntayọ̀ Àgùnbíọ́dẹ ìlú Ìbàdàn Ambro BOT Alhaji Abdulrasaq Abdulgani Mr. Ajare ní ààrẹ ẹgbẹ́ Ambrode Right Honourable Adébò Ògúndòyìn Speaker Ọ̀yọ́ State House of Assembly ní olùgbàlejò àgbà Tayo King àti Táyé Sálílà lólórí wa lọ́jọ́ náà àdìrẹ ti wà lẹ̀ fún títà o gbogbo ènìyàn ẹ bá wa yayọ̀ àjọ̀dún ọdún kan Chevy Swagger ó gorí àga Ambrode lójú wa ṣe o.
Mrs. Adeniyi báwo ni o.
ẹ wo a ti ṣe tèmi ó bù ṣe a ó máa tẹ̀síwájú lọ́la.
A jẹ́ kó dàárọ̀ ńgbà náà.
ẹ jẹ́ kí n bá yín sún síwájú díẹ̀.
kìràkìtà ìdá nítorí àti lànì bí a bá wá ṣiṣẹ́ látàárọ̀ dandan ní ká darí sílé ìyànjú lásán làgbẹ̀ kúkú ń gbà ọlọ́run ọba nìkan ní jẹ́ kí ṣòó ta bí o bá wá ṣiṣẹ́ tó tó ń darí relé kárìn kápọ̀ yíyẹ ní yẹ̀yàn ṣé nínú ọkọ̀ aládàáni lẹwà ni àbí nínú ọkọ̀ gbòòrò orí ọ̀kadà lẹwà bí àbí nínú márúwá bó bá sì jẹ́ rédíò kan alápàmẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ ní bẹ lọ́wọ́ tẹ̀yìn tẹ̀ sójú ẹ̀ ní 32 FM 94.9 kí ẹ darapọ̀ mọ́ Délé Ìjìnlẹ̀ Délé Akínbọ̀dé.
tó Délé Akínbọ̀dé Délé Ìjìnlẹ̀ lórúkọ mi èmi àti àjọ máa pàdé lórí ìkànnì yìí ní gbogbo ọjọ́ Monday Tuesday Wednesday àti Thursday láago 6 sáago 7 ẹ wo fàájì yẹn má mi ìsì ẹ̀ ní lẹ́yìn iṣẹ́ ká lè láwọn kọ́kọ́ tá a máa dìbò.
láàrin agogo 6 sí 7 ìrọ̀lẹ́ láti ọjọ́ Monday títí di Thursday níwọ̀n ìgbà tá a ti gbẹ́sẹ́ mọ́rí látòórọ̀ tá a sì fẹ́ fún ọpọlọ nísinmi ohun tó kù náà ní ká gbọ́ orin àti àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ tí fúnni nírètí ọ̀la lẹ́yìn iṣẹ́ lètò tuntun tẹ́ ọ̀ máa gbádùn rẹ̀ lórí ìkànnì adẹ́nipòṣónú 32 FM 94.9 ọmọ tó bá ṣiṣẹ́ déédéé ńkọ́ tó bá tún jà ládùn kò léèwọ̀.
ọdẹ má ti gbòógì dán sóko.
Life is a series of decisions, from where to live, who to marry, to even what to eat. As you navigate these choices, we hope you've made the right ones so far. Now, let's talk about making a smart investment decision. Investing with Soft Sands Property, a leading real estate organization in partnership with 32FM 94.9, could be one of the best choices you'll ever make. With our innovative estates like Orange Estate in Ido, Mango Estate in Akufo, and soon Banana Estate in Omiadio, you have numerous excellent options. Partnering with Soft Sands Property could be the game changer you need. Call or WhatsApp 0911 555 0055 or 0916 461 5000 or visit www.softsandsproperty.com for more information. Soft Sands, created to house the world.
32 FM 94.9.
Right, welcome back to the Podium on 32 FM 94.9. In case you're just joining us, we have Mr. Femi Falana, SAN, on the line with us this morning. So let's go to our panelists now. Let me start off with Barrister Yomi Ogunlola. Barrister, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you very much, Toba. I see yourself and my learned silk have exhausted defamation, and the position of learned silk is exactly as it is. I want to thank the learned silk again for honoring our invitation. Now let me go outside the issue of defamation. I want to go to the recent visit to Brazil by the President of Nigeria. As we all know, Brazil is one of the members of BRICS. But in terms of trade, I find that they are majorly an agricultural country, and their volume of trade is about $500+ billion a year, out of which exports account for about 385 billion. Now, I want to ask the learned silk what he thinks or feels about a relationship with Brazil, what do we stand to benefit from Brazil being another agricultural country aside the crude oil that we export? Is there any possibility of trade, beneficial trade to Nigeria from Brazil?
All right, Mr. Falana, the question is for you, sir. Hello, Mr. Falana, can you hear us?
Yeah, the question.
You didn't get the question?
Please, can you repeat the question?
Okay, Barrister, please repeat the question.
Oh, okay. Sir, I was just looking at the president's visit to Brazil. I have looked at Brazil, and I see that it is basically an agricultural country. The volume of its trade is about $500+ billion, of which about 385 billion is for exporting agricultural products. I also know that it is a member of BRICS. I was just wondering, what precisely do we stand to gain with a relationship with Brazil, as the president has initiated?
Well, I think I understand you now. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, go ahead,
Can you
sir.
hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
Can you
you.
hear
Go
me?
ahead. Yes, we're with you. Go ahead, sir. Mr. Falana, go. Yes, go ahead. Yes.
Yeah. I'm saying.
Oh, looks like we're having trouble hearing you. Mr. Falana, can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay, we lost connection with you for a minute
Hello?
there. Yes, go ahead now. We can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
I am saying that Nigeria and Brazil
Oh, looks
are
like
also members of the non-aligned movement. We are also, while Brazil is a full-fledged member of.
Right. Looks like there is, a challenge with the network from your end, because there seemed to be a delay or some kind of distortion, in this. Yeah.
50% of the global Brazil houses a lot of black people. They
Oh, Mr. Falano, I think there's a kind of distortion from your end there. Perhaps maybe change of location could aid the communication better.
Brazil respects Nigeria. Hello?
Yes, I'm saying that we're missing some of the points you're making. There's there seems to be a break in transmission here and there. Yeah, there seems to be a challenge. Maybe perhaps.
Can you better now?
Yes. Okay. Let's try now.
Uh-huh. I am
Still breaking.
equality of state, unlike imperialist country. I
Right.
still see Nigeria as a former
Still breaking.
thing, and we must be looking for
No.
our relationship with the West.
Mr. Falano, we're missing all the points you're making. I don't know. There seems to be a challenge, with your network from your end. Hello, can you hear us now, sir? We're missing some of the points you're making.
Oh wow.
Yes, it's really breaking. Can you hear us now?
Okay, let me see.
Can you hear us now?
Can you hear me?
Okay, we can hear you. Hopefully this will be better.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Okay.
if you can hear me now.
Yes, we can. We can now.
Right?
Yes, we missed some of the points you made. Yes. Hello?
To be taken very. Yeah.
Oh. Still not better. Still breaking. Still breaking. Oof. I mean, these things happen, you know. These things happen. Right. Can you hear us now? Oh, okay.
I'm not sure why.
I don't think. I think there's a challenge with his network. Hello.
Yes, apparently.
Hello. Can you hear us now, sir? Right. Okay. So let's hope he gets that sorted. But I think Prof, what he was trying to explain is the cultural affinity between Nigeria and Brazil in terms of having. Okay, Mr. Falano, can you hear us now?
Can you? Yeah.
Oh, it's really breaking. It's quite unfortunate that this is happening today. It's quite unfortunate. Really breaking.
So severe.
I can hear you, but can you hear me?
Yes, we can. We can now.
I can hear you again now.
Oh, looks like it does. Yes. Okay. Looks like it has gone off again.
Valued.
Okay.
Because we have many things in common. We have cultural links. Brazil houses the largest number of people that were taken from Africa. Yes. Brazil. Brazil has been so also member of the full-fledged member of the BRICS.
No, Mr. Falano, we're still missing your point again. Maybe perhaps
on the basis of equality of state.
Perhaps you could. Hello, we're missing all the points you're making. We cannot hear you, sir. We cannot hear you. It's not smooth. Okay. Perhaps he will rejoin the call, and we'll see how that goes. Perhaps he'll rejoin the call. So, I mean, Prof, I think the point he was trying to make is about the, cultural affinity between Nigeria and Brazil, trying to explain it in the context of the president visit. We also saw Professor YUSUF as well, who's done, remarkable scholarly work in terms of that link, of course, through his literary work in terms of the link between Brazil and Nigeria. Maybe that's the point he was trying to make, like that. Prof. Hello, Prof.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes. I'm saying that. Do you understand, the point he was trying to make, maybe to justify the president's visit and the trade deals that were signed there?
Yeah, I think that a visit to Brazil is welcome anytime, any day. And as Comrade was trying to emphasize, Brazil had the largest number of the black diaspora. And it's not just an agricultural country. It's actually...
Okay, Prof, I think Ms. Falano is back. Yes, can you hear us now?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, hopefully this will be smooth. Okay, all right. Go ahead, sir.
Well,
yes.
Can you hear me too?
Yes.
Going back to Brazil, I am saying that Nigeria will have to deepen the relationship that were taken away from Nigeria.
Oh, okay. Ms. Falano, it's happening again. It's happening again.
Even some are very much. Oh, wow.
It's happening again. It looks like there are some forces against us today, but we'll overcome them. We'll have a smooth conversation with you.
You also cannot hear me again?
Yeah, it's just breaking. Okay. It's just breaking. Perhaps you could change your location or sort of restart your device, restart your network, maybe. Maybe that will work.
I've tried to.
Maybe restart your Wi-Fi or mobile network or something. Yes. That maybe that will work. We're hearing you, but there's a delay and there's a break. There's a break. The line is unstable, really unstable.
Well, I'm
really unstable. Maybe you could, exit the call, restart your Wi-Fi or your internet connection, and then rejoin. Maybe that will work.
But you can hear me.
We're hearing you, but it's just breaking. It's just breaking. So it's not, the conversation is not as smooth as we want it to be, and we're missing some of the key points you're making, sir.
We're actually unable to hear you significantly.
Yes. There's always like a lag and a break in between. So perhaps you could, exit the call and rejoin. Okay. Yes. Let's try again. Can you hear us now?
Hello?
Yes. Can you hear us now, sir?
We can hear you perfectly well.
All right. Let's try again. Hopefully this will work. Oh, it's gone off again.
Hear you.
Okay.
But apparently you cannot hear me.
We can hear you, but there's always like a break in between. So maybe the network is fluctuating. That's a challenge we're having.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
And the break is very severe.
Yes, it's severe. And we're missing some key points you're making. We're missing some key points. Okay, perhaps we'll just let's take a break, and hopefully that will be sorted, and we'll come back to continue the conversation. Remember, it's the Podium on 32 FM 94.9. You stay with us. We'll be back in a moment.
Our very existence has been unlawful in the eyes of the oppressor. Our indigenous laws have been treated as inferior to Roman Dutch law or English law. To be an African has meant that for generations we are not worthy of the laws and the rights that make us human beings. And for that reason, it was legal to abuse us, to enslave us, to steal our mineral wealth and oil, and to destroy and kill our heritage, history, and even our lives. The legal profession you belong to, the political system we belong to, the judiciary and parliaments were created without us in mind. They were crafted at our exclusion and built to sustain our suffering. We now sit in the corridors which were built to break the back and the soul of African people. The demand then from those who died at the hands of this institution that we now serve is that we transform them so that they become instruments of the people. Then from those who died at the hands of this institute to maintain the status quo, but we are here to make our profession serve the African child. I wish to remind you that it was once legal to come to the shores of our great continent and kidnap Africans and enslave us in foreign lands. It was once legal to rape African women and children because they did not have the right to dignity of their European oppressors. It was once legal to take our land and our minerals because, according to the law of the white man, we were not civilized enough to control our own land and our own wealth. In South Africa, our freedom, our oppression, our resistance all had law at the center of it. Under apartheid, it was legal to restrict the movement of Africans to labor reserves called townships and to teach us inferior education so that we could only be servants of white masters. All of those problems were legal, and it took brave men and women to say that if the oppression of Africans is lawful, then such a law is unjust and must be opposed. Today, as our continent is troubled by corruption, leaders who utilize state machinery to sustain their rule at the expense of the poor and the African lives in abject poverty, a question we all ought to ask ourselves is whether the time for the legal profession and the activists to once again stand up for what is right. We must all ask ourselves whether the time has not once again arrived for liberation to be achieved against the sale of our nation to recolonization, and whether this fight must not begin by reimagining our laws for the better. We must therefore reach into this deep history of resistance and solidarity which is shared by our two nations in order to achieve the goal of restoring the humanity of Africa and her people.
Yeah, this is the Podium on 32 FM 94.9. Okay, let's see if Mr. Femi Falana can join us now. Okay.
Yeah.
Hello. Yes. Okay. All right. Yes. Thank you so much. Yes, we can hear you now. Let me also add Barrister and Prof to the call so they can be part of the conversation as well. Okay. Right. Thankfully, I think this line is a lot better now. I think this line is better.
Yeah,
now.
this is better.
Yes, this is better. Yes. So we'll continue the conversation very shortly. Meanwhile, in case you just joined us, what you listened to was a speech by Julius Malema of the Economic Freedom Fighters Party in South Africa, his speech at the recently held MBA conference. Okay, I think Barry says on the call now. So, Mr. Femi Falana, Prof is also here as well. So, please, I'd like you to continue your line of thought regarding the question about Brazil and Nigeria, because we missed all the key points you made there.
Yeah, I'm saying that Brazil and Nigeria have a lot in common. Apart from being former members of the non-aligned movement, we're also current members of the BRICS. That is the new organization that is challenging the dominance of the West, and particularly the dollarization of our economies. On the cultural angle, Brazil houses the largest number of black people taken out of Africa during the slave trade. The population of blacks in Brazil is almost next to Nigeria. So we have a lot in common. And in the area of industrialization, we also have a lot to learn from Brazil. And particularly under President Lula, who has come back. During his first term of office, he was able to take the largest number of people in the history of the world from poverty to prosperity. And so we have a lot in common with that country in the area of, if we want to get our country back on track, we need to deepen our relationship with Brazil. And if Brazil is relating with Nigeria on the basis of equality of states, unlike Western countries, Europe and America, that sees Nigeria like as its former colony.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, continue, sir. We can hear you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I am saying that currently Nigeria is a partner member of BRICS. We need to join BRICS as a full-fledged member so that this dominance of the dollar can be challenged. Countries in the BRICS are trying to trade among themselves in their own national currencies. And for me, we stand to gain a lot by joining the BRICS as a full-fledged member.
Yeah.
And for me, this is why we must deepen the relationship between Nigeria and Brazil.
But Mr. Falano, just before I go to Prof, doesn't this, sort of take us away from our traditional non-alignment policy in terms of being in the middle, not being aligned with any of the blocks whatsoever? Because being a member of BRICS also puts us, quote unquote, as some people have said, in the bad books of the United States in terms of the trade tariff and the sort of protectionist policies of Donald Trump. So can we afford to risk our partnership with the United States in favor of BRICS? Doesn't that betray our traditional non-alignment policy?
No. Non-alignment does not mean you should not choose your friends. I am saying over the years, our relationship with the West is rather servile. It's our former colony. Therefore, we must continue to treat that country as a former colony of Great Britain so that the country does not develop on its own. And the Western countries do not treat Nigeria on the basis of equality of state. Whether you are in the BRICS or not, President Trump is using tariffs on countries that dare to challenge his dominance. I mean, for instance, Canada is not in the BRICS, yet the United States government has imposed enormous tariffs on Canada and many other countries. So we stand to gain more from the BRICS because we must choose our friend. What is likely to profit Nigeria more? And that is why we must deepen our relationship with members of the BRICS. I mean, take China, for instance. I mean, we've a lot of loans from China. African countries have a lot of loans from China. Again, Chinese loans are not like Western loans. Western loans are largely stolen by criminally minded leaders in the continent. But China will come and say, oh, you want to construct a railway between Abuja and Kaduna, okay, we'll help you to do it.
Yeah.
You want to construct a railway line between Lagos and Ibadan. We are coming with our machines. We'll train your people along the line. So it's not about just throwing the money at us and then people divert the money. So the relationship is different from what we used to have with the West.
Right. Okay, let's go to Prof now. Prof? Hello, Prof, are you with us?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Brazil is not just basically an agricultural country. In fact, it's an industrial power.
It's an industrial power.
Yeah, in Latin America. And I think that if we are going to BRICS and we are strengthening our relationship with Brazil, we should focus not only on agriculture, but value addition to agriculture.
Maybe of technology.
But what was particularly surprising to me was when the president was speaking to the leader of Brazil that corruption
has ended.
Yeah, and I was wondering if that reflects the reality on the ground and how taking that foot forward would support the quest to deepen our relationship with Brazil.
You want to shake the table this morning?
I think one of the first things I read about Brazil was I think the one book written by 𝐒𝐿𝐿, Racial Democracy in Brazil, many years ago. And I was wondering, what is the situation of the blacks in Africa? So I tried in Brazil, I tried to look out, and I realized that they are very marginal when it comes to industry, when it comes to economy, when it comes to technology. Where you find them is usually in tourism, religion, and all those things. And I hope that our relationship will not be emphasizing those things to the detriment of manufacturing, technology, economy, and so on. What is the current president take or the mission? Because I saw one clip where they were in a huge farm, where they were. I think it's a ranch, a huge ranch for cows. And I said, and then our people there, they were looking like surprised. Because that was also surprising to me, given that if you are familiar with the global world of dairy, you find that what you find in Brazil, you can also find in Gaborone in South Africa, Southern Africa. And I'm wondering whether those in power are actually familiar with where the needs of Nigeria can be best served in terms of external relations.
Right, Mr. Falano.
Yes, the people in power here, frankly speaking, hardly realize the potentials of the country. And I've made this point over and over again. Botswana, until 2019, used to have a larger population of cattle than human beings. It's a small country. At a time, the cattle population was 2.8 million, while the human population was 2.4 or 2 million. Now, that is a country that took the first loan from African Development Bank to set up ranches. Incidentally, it was a Nigerian, one chief of Gunjobe, I think he passed away about 2 years ago, from Ondo State, that facilitated the loan. And that is how that small country, Botswana, is one of the leading meat producers in Africa today. We have asked Nigerians.
Oh, okay. Looks like we're missing. Okay, yes.
But Brazil, I had repeated.
Looks like there are some forces against us from Brazil this morning.
Violent clashes between.
Hello, Mr. Falano. We're missing your point again. Can you hear us now?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
I can hear you.
Yes. Okay. Go ahead. Let's see if it's better now.
Towards Southern Africa, in terms of clashes between herders and farmers, Brazil is ahead of the Southern African region in terms of the agricultural. We must not also expose ourselves to ridicule. There is no corruption in Nigeria. There are Brazilians that have come and Brazilians understand the system of Nigeria. Use corruption, but you cannot say in all.
Very good. Wow.
Oh. Mr. Falano.
The whole world has become a global village.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. We missed some points you made about herders and all of that in Brazil. We missed that. I don't know if you can just reiterate that. Yes.
Herders and farmers.
Yes. We missed that point. The line was breaking there.
Oh, you want me to go on?
Yes. Go on, sir.
The government to look towards Southern Africa in time.
Oh. Okay, perhaps we could do a direct call, Mr. Falano. Can we do a direct call? Maybe that would work because this one is also breaking here as well. Can we do a direct call?
Hello?
Mr. Falano, I'm saying, can we do a direct call? Maybe that will work. Maybe that would perhaps be better than this.
Yes, why not?
Okay, please let's do a direct call to make the conversation a lot smoother than what we're experiencing right now. Let me see. Let's see if we can do a direct call. Okay. Yes. I'm calling you right now. All right, Mr. Falano, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
All right, so let's see if this will work. Let me confirm from Barrister and Prof if they can also hear you. Barrister and Prof, can you hear Mr. Falano?
Can you hear me?
Barrister and Prof, can you hear Mr. Falano? Hello?
I'm not sure they can hear. But I gave you another number, a glow number.
Okay, yes.
I gave you a glow number. I think that would be better.
All right, let me see.
I understand the MTN will have this problem until 12 o'clock today.
Oh, right. Okay,
they announced it.
Let's try and
let's use Glow.
Okay, please stay on the call.
Let's migrate to Glow.
Please stay on the call, sir. Stay on this call. Let me try and react Barrister and Prof. Okay, all right. Let's try Go. We'll call you back on the other line then. Call you back on the other line. Thank you, sir. Right, it's the Podium on 32 FM 94.9. Guest this morning is Mr. Femi Falana, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. We've been discussing the state of the nation. We'll take a quick break. We just want to sort out the connection issues so we can have a smooth conversation with him. Do stay with us. Right, welcome back. The Podium on 32 FM 94.9. Apologies for the breaking transmission. We're trying to sort out the connection issues. But let me go back to Prof and Barrister as we try to get Mr. Falano back on the line. Okay, yes, I think it's with us now. Mr. Falano, can you hear us? Hello, Mr. Falano.
I'm okay now.
Yes, we're trying to get you on the other line, but it seems like it's not available, on WhatsApp. So that's the challenge you seem to be having. That's the challenge we seem to be having.
Hello?
Hello, I'm saying we're trying to get you on the other line. It looks like it's not available on WhatsApp. So that's the challenge we're having.
Oh, wow. We have to reset. Yes, I was trying to emphasize our relationship with Brazil, and I quite agree. I think with Prof that beyond collaborating in the area of agriculture, we really need to concentrate more on industrialization. But in our engagement with Brazil, we must try as much as possible not to sell the country beyond the reality on ground. The same credited to the president that corruption has been abolished in Nigeria. Will have been very laughable to the Brazilian delegation because the world has become a global village whereby they are likely to have read stories about a minister, selling government property or land to his son, or a minister acquiring a property in Florida contrary to the laws of the country. So we must be honest, we must be transparent in our engagement with Brazil so that we do not expose the country to ridicule. Furthermore, I think the fact that Nigerians can now travel to Brazil and vice versa will also promote the relationship much more. But for me, since Brazil is an industrialized country, we need to learn more in that area whereby Nigeria can add value to the relationship between us and that country. With respect to the people, the black people in Brazil, they are exposed to education in certain areas. They are also on top there. It's not only in the area of culture that Brazilians, our black Brazilians have excelled, but in our engagement too, we must also challenge the black community in Brazil to also develop more interest in the area of science and technology as opposed to dancing, because that's an area, the area of tourism where the blacks have excelled, in the area of sports where the blacks have excelled. But we must also encourage them to embrace science and technology, for the development of the black people all over the world.
Right. Yes. And one of the things that people have said about this government is the fact that the president has been traveling since he got into power. He's gone to several countries. And I'd also say, well, you don't need to go out to attract investment. There are issues that need to be fixed. When these issues are fixed, investors would naturally, come to your country. And they talk about the policies he has implemented in the last 2 years, the subsidy removal, and the FX unification. For the side of the government, they say, well, these are difficult but necessary decisions that will sort of rejig the economy and get us back on track. They say since this has been done, there have been gains from this reform. So I'd like to get your thoughts regarding his trips abroad, whether or not it's attracting investment, whether or not these are just needless trips by the president, and then these policies, whether or not they've yielded are they yielding results, or are they difficult but necessary reforms as the presidency often puts them?
There's no serious country in the world whose president is always on the run. The problems are here. They must be addressed here. When you address the problem locally, that will attract investors. But the greatest investment is here. You must invest in Nigeria. You must have confidence in Nigeria because Nigerians are fixed in other countries. If you take the area of health, you must fix our medical facilities so that our doctors that are serving other countries can return to the country. You don't need to go out, to ask for investment here. The investment is here. The Chinese economy has just about 4% foreign investment. You can't go around the country. President Obasanjo did it. Was always flying all over the world. At the end of the day, it really did not attract any serious investment. So you're not going to have investment by jumping from one capital to the other. Right now, for the first time in the history of Nigeria, since 1960, we do not have ambassadors for close to 2 years. Those are the people to follow up on these trips by the president. But we don't have ambassadors. those charged affairs are not in a position to follow up. I mean, for instance, a charged affair cannot easily book an appointment to meet a president, but that's the duty of an ambassador. So they are not taking us very seriously. This is the third time the president has gone to Brazil. He shouldn't have gone more than once, and then his ambassador in that country will follow up on his trips, on the first trip. But now the president has to go to Brazil, maybe he will go again because there is no ambassador in that country. And that goes for all other countries. So the president must choose his ambassador. The president must stay in Nigeria and address the problems of Nigeria. The president must fix the problems of this country. And that is what is going to attract investors.
Right. What about the policies, that they've implemented, the subsidy removal and the FX unification? For those in government, they argue that these policies are starting to yield results. They say, the oil sector is now fully deregulated. Dangote coming on stream has eased the pressure, reduced reliance on importation. They say the Naira is gaining strength against the dollar now. These are signs, according to them, that these policies are now yielding results.
Well, frankly speaking, I do not agree that embracing neoliberal policies will lift us out of poverty. More people are getting poor in Nigeria. Those who are talking of, the economy is stable, they're talking of the dollar. How much was the dollar to the Naira 40 years ago? How much was the dollar to the Naira in 2015? How much was the dollar to the Naira in 2023? Why is it 1,600 today? And people are asking us to dance and clap for the government. For me, you remove fuel subsidy. In April 2023, the money share by the 3 tiers of government was 655 billion naira. Last month, July 2025, it was 2 trillion naira. In June, it was 1.8 trillion naira. The governors, the president, the federal, state and local government are making more money.
Yes.
But in town, our people are getting poorer by the day. And so these policies must be reviewed. The policies of the IMF and World Bank are meant to promote poverty and encourage exportation of our money, and also to turn Nigeria into a permanent raw material producer, as opposed to having your own industries here. Why should Nigeria, after 5 years of independence, be exporting raw cocoa beans when we should be having factories producing Bonvita, and the rest of them?
Yes.
So we must review the economy. Right now, the economy is not solving the problems of the country. The economy is helping the Western countries to take more money out of the country. The economy is helping the Chinese to take raw materials out of Nigeria. So we must begin to have a new engagement with those who are coming here to invest. You must set up factories here. Our factories are closing down while we are celebrating. That means more people are going to the unemployment market. And that is why you have insecurity all over the place. Because we only talk of physical insecurity, as opposed we don't discuss social insecurity in our country. And that's why we're in trouble.
Yeah, I think I saw your speech at the NBA conference where you touched on that aspect of insecurity as well. Away from the fight against terrorism and banditry, you also spoke about hunger and poverty being another very important side of insecurity that must be addressed. But let's go to Barrister. Barrister, hello, Barrister. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Toba. And I also want to thank again the learned Silk. And now you touched on the just concluded NBA 2025 conference. There is an issue that is trending, considering the roles that were played by new wigs at the conference. And quite a sizable number of legal practitioners are finding it out of place. considering the tradition of the profession, the ethical standards that have been laid, but which to many were breached at the conference. I want to have your take on what happened at the conference. Secondly, the admonition by Obi Ezekwesili, I hope I got that name right. I also want you, as one of the leading figures of, the profession, to have your take, because it was a great indictment of the legal practitioners, particularly, and the judiciary as a whole.
All right, Mr. Falano. Hello, Mr. Falano. I don't know if you got the question, sir.
I didn't hear my colleagues.
Oh, okay. So,
Go on with the question.
yeah, he was asking you about the recently concluded MBA conference, the roles played by the so-called newbies in the profession. There are those who say there's a way things are supposed to be done at a conference like that, that what do you make of it? Because some senior legal practitioners have also criticized how things panned out there. So he said he wanted to get your take, and he also wanted to get your take regarding what Madam Obi Ezekwesili said about, at the conference, about the role of lawyers and the current state of the nation.
Well, first of all, on the involvement of young lawyers, it is not a bad idea to involve young lawyers. It is overexposure that people are criticizing. We even have what you call the Young Lawyers Group in the profession. And this group exists to promote the interests of young lawyers and to ensure that they are properly included in the affairs of the association. I think what people have criticized is the overexposure of people who have just been called to the bar. And so I hope the leaders of the profession have taken cognizance of the criticism. Nobody is saying that young people or young lawyers or newly called lawyers should not be involved in the affairs of the association, because we must promote inclusion in all areas of our life, and that is what democracy is all about, that everybody is included, everybody has a role to play, everybody will be included in the affairs of an organization, in the affairs of the country. But it is overexposure of any particular group that I believe my colleagues have criticized, but a bird does not fly with one wing. It has to be both wings, and therefore we need the old and the young. But I think lawyers have generally criticized overexposure of some certain individuals. But again, as I said, the leadership must have taken this, as a very serious criticism. And so next time, I'm sure things will be done much more properly. Right. With respect to my position, in the area where I participated in the conference, very briefly, it has to do with civil rights, the rights of our people, and security concern. And I try to draw, and I try to disagree with the line of dichotomy usually drawn between physical insecurity and social insecurity. I try to draw a link. I try to put the two together to make the point that without addressing social insecurity, you cannot have physical security in any country. In other words, young people who are unemployed, young people who are not in school. For instance, we have 18.3 million out of school children. From that army of unemployed children, that army of children who are out on the street, criminal gangs recruit, including terrorist groups. But if those children are in school and we secure them in school, you won't have many of them going to crimes. Again, we say what happens on a daily basis, that young people, we're establishing universities, we're establishing tertiary institutions. The army of graduates that we're producing every year, nobody is thinking of how do we engage them productively? How do we create jobs opportunities for them so that when they leave school, they can be productively engaged. And that is why you have young people going into internet fraud, what you call Yahoo boys and the rest of them. But these are issues that we have to address, just like you're addressing the question of insecurity. And that's why I made the point. I drew attention of my colleagues and the government to the codification of the National Social Investment Program. It has become a law now that the government must embark on cash transfer to the vulnerable segment of the society. Again, I think that is something we have learned from Brazil. The government must promote the 𝐿power. The government must supply. Again, I think it was announced last week that the government will soon resume the school feeding program, whereby at least, a nutritious meal is provided for our children every day. And this is meant to attract young people, children to go to schools, primary school. And what I've now challenged my colleagues to take more interest in the implementation of welfare laws in our country, including the budget of every state. If I ask your station now, whether you have a copy of the Oyo State 2025 appropriation law, the budget is a law. So each of us must get hold of the budget of our country, the budget of our state, even the budget of our local government, and find out, monitor the budget, and ensure that all those items that the government claim is going to supply, the schools that will be built, the hospitals that will be built, the roads that will be fixed, we must ensure that the government implements the policies, the provisions of the budget. We shouldn't be talking of, what do you call them now? Consensus projects all the time. Even the consensus project, this year, 11,700 items were included in the 2025 Appropriation Act. All our local government, all the constituencies in the country are supposed to have one or two projects cited. Has that been done? These are the issues that lawyers must now go out of their way. Apart from promoting political and civil rights, right to life, right to liberty, right to freedom of expression, and the rest of them, these are rights that are enjoyed only by an infinitesimal minority of our people, the young, the rich and the powerful. So we must now ensure that socioeconomic rights are also enforced in our courts, so that if a government does not send children to school, we must be able to go to court and get the government to provide money to send them to school. But there's no room for illiteracy on the part of children in our country. Every state has adopted the Child's Right Law now, and the Child's Right Law provides that every Nigerian child shall be entitled to free and compulsory education from primary to junior secondary school. That's first 9 years of the life of a child in Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I like the fact that we've gone into education, and it's very crucial because we're at a point where ASU, the Academic Staff Union of Universities, are threatening to go on strike. And I remember reading Dr. Tunji Alausa, Minister of Education, I think it was on Thursday, where he said that the document that ASU often refers to as an agreement between them and federal government were just merely draft or proposals presented during negotiations in 2009, that those documents are not in fact agreement that the federal government is going to negotiate with ASU to come up with a framework for the implementation of the draft proposal. So I'd like you to get your thoughts on that in terms of what actually constitutes an agreement in the context of a labor dispute. And that 2009 document we refer to as an agreement, or it's not, it's just a mere draft, as Dr. Tunji Alausa has stated. That's one. And number two, there is the argument for overhauling the university system. There are those who have talked about making the university system autonomous. They say this will resolve the lingering crisis of poor infrastructure, unpaid salary. They even argue that to improve the quality of research in our higher institutions in the country. So I'd like to get your thoughts on this too.
Well, number one, as a counsel to the Academic Staff Union of Universities, I can assure you that the minister with profound respect must have been misquoted. The 2009 agreement has been improved upon. in 2013, in 2017, 2021. So every time ASUU goes on strike, that agreement is brushed up and fine-tuned by the government. So the agreement is valid and subsisting. And when you talk of an agreement, it can be in writing, it can be oral, it can even be by conduct. If the government has acted on the agreement in question, the government cannot turn around and say the agreement is not valid, or it was not.
Or it's just a draft. Or it's just a draft. Yeah.
So the agreement is binding.
Right.
I think the government has moved higher. I think the Minister of Education has invited us so that serious discussions, serious negotiations can begin, because it is unacceptable in any country that councillors are earning more than professors. It's unacceptable in a country that legislators, local and national, are earning more than professors. So these are the areas we have to review on research. In the universities again, a lot goes to the government. You cannot, in the context of Nigeria, talk of that public institutions should become autonomous. Meaning what? It's the government that established this institution, and the government must fund them adequately. And the government is establishing more universities, more tertiary institutions. Until recently, when some ban had been placed. So the ones that have been created, the government must fund them. If private people want to dominate or they want to set up foundations, that should be welcomed. But you must not compare universities with Harvard and the rest of them, because each institution has its own history. Institutions that were set up as private private tertiary institutions cannot be compared with a public institution. So the government set them up. The government has not sold these universities, and so the government must continue to fund them. And one of the suggestions made by ASUU in 1992, which is part of the, 2009 agreement, is that in 2002, ASUU convinced the government, 1992, that we needed to introduce what you call education tax. Then it was 2%. It has since moved to 3%. 3% of the profits of every company in Nigeria is remitted to the account of State Fund. Without that education tax today, it will have been impossible to talk about development of our universities. Today, in all public institutions, the buildings you fund, capital projects, are funded from the education tax. So that was a suggestion by us. We must look at other areas where the government can raise money to run our institutions.
Yes. Mr. Falana, please stay with us. We need to just take this 2 minutes break. I know you've been with us through all the challenges we had in terms of communication. After this 2 minute break, we'll come back and then we'll wrap up the conversation with you. Please stay with us. We'll be back in a moment. Don't go away.
Stay tuned to 32 FM 94.9.
Golden chance, golden chance, golden chance, Uzo. Golden chance, golden chance, golden chance, Uzo.
Golden chance don't take pools enter eye level with ogbonge better odds wey no get rival. As you dey sabi your own, make you know say golden chance pools dey accept any stake, and if your stake win na instanta you go collect your winnings. Make you ask people, dem go tell you say golden chance pools dey transparent gidigba. Our terminals dey kampe, no network failure. Oya now, no carry last. Make you sabi your own. Stake golden chance pools, win, make you collect your money sharp sharp. Sabi your own terms and conditions dey o. Bet responsibly. Golden chance pool.
Golden chance, Uzo. Attention, attention, if you're not spending money, go, 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 go.
All work and no music. Now they make Jumbo a dull boy. What about Funke? Omo, e be like say Funke to want the dull o. Don't dull. You wearing no Prada. Don't dull on a Friday evening, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Tune in to 32 FM 94.9 Fenye. Join Mouthpiece on Music Match. Where better gbedu go dey eat your airwaves. Wetin be the keyword for today? Get the keyword and request for your own song. You dey feel am? You dey feel am? You dey feel am?
It is Beduro. You dey feel am? You dey feel am? You dey feel am? Omo see signal. Is so die.
Music Match with Mouthpiece. Omo Jami.
Level. T-Package. So, yeah. Finish now. No time. Shoot. This one bad. Omo bad. Boy, me. Oh, yeah, now. Finish this.
Kò bá jẹ́ 24, 29 tàbí 32 ṣáà ti fẹ̀yìn ẹ̀ pẹ̀lú wa lórí gbogbo ìkànnì ìbánidọ́rẹ̀ẹ́ kàn tẹ 32FM 949 fẹ̀yìn ẹ̀.
32FM News. First, we're telling real stories.
We air stories from the perspectives of the people. Stories that our people can relate with.
In news delivery, we are fast, objective, and accurate.
We're all about changing the narratives by telling underreported stories and bringing those behind the news to your doorsteps.
At 12 noon and 4 p.m., we will continue to bring you comprehensive and factual news at home and across our various social platforms.
The stories you need to keep up with, from community news to sports, business, politics, and a lot more.
32FM News, first with telling real stories.
Ìṣẹ̀mí ẹ̀dá kún fún onírúurú ìpinnu látòrí ibo ni wọ́n gbé ta ni kí n fẹ́ àti kí ni wọ́n jẹ gan nínú gbogbo àwọn ètò wọ̀nyí. Ohun tó dára jù ní kí èyàn ó yàn rè. Ó yá wá yìí jẹ́ kájọ ní gbólóhùn lórí ìpinnu dídókòwò pẹ̀lú iléeṣẹ́ tí ń bá ní ìtalẹ̀ Soft Sand Property pẹ̀lú àjọṣepọ̀ iléeṣẹ́ rédíò 32FM 94.9 ṣeéṣe kó jẹ́ ìgbésẹ̀ tí ó dára jùlọ nínú àwọn ìgbésẹ̀ tó ti gbé sẹ́yìn pẹ̀lú àwọn ọgbọ́n àtinúdá wa lórí ilẹ̀ wa bíi Orange Estate tó wà ní Ìdó, Mango Estate tó wà ní Àkùfò tó fi mọ́ Banana Estate tó ń bọ̀ lọ́nà ní agbègbè Omi Àdìó. Èyí gan ni jókà tó lè yí ayé ẹni padà sí rere. Sátìpè tàbí fi àtẹ̀jíṣẹ́ sọwọ́ sórí àwọn ojú òpó pè yìí 09115550055 tàbí 09164615000. Bákan náà lè kàn sí ojú òpó ayélujára wa www.softsandsproperty.com fún àlàyé ní ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́.
Win 20,000 Naira daily with Cocoa Box and 32FM. Partnering with 32FM 94.9, Cocoa Box offers you a chance to win 20,000 Naira daily with just 500 Naira. Here's how to play. 1. Dial *347*253# and follow the prompts. 2. Indicate the number of times you want to play. 3. It generates a one-time account number for payment. 4. Make payments via your bank app, USSD, or visit a nearby POS with generated account number. Important, the account number is valid for a few minutes and for that specific transaction only. Please note that if you don't complete the transaction on this generated account, you won't be able to create another one. Increase your chances. Play multiple times to boost your odds of winning. Draw schedule. Raffle draw 9:30 a.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., and 5 p.m. Mondays to Fridays. Every week, 32 people will win 20,000 Naira each. 8 lucky winners daily, each winning 20,000 Naira. Get started. Dial *347*253# now and win big with just 500 Naira.
Feel better about your life.
32FM 94.9, the antidote to depression.
Welcome back. The Podium on 32FM 94.9. Mr. Femi Falana SN is still with us on the show this morning. Remember, we're live on Facebook, 32FM 949 Fenye. So we'll continue the conversation very quickly. Let me get Prof back on the line. Prof? Hello, Prof. Are you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes. All right. You have the floor, Prof.
Okay. I was just thinking about activism and the effort to hold the government to account. And I'm wondering the role that social media has played in that process. And for Mr. Falana, who has been in the trenches for multiple decades, and then the way government has reacted to such activism. Does it think that Nigerians are actually harnessing social media effectively to hold the government accountable? And has it made activism easier or it has complicated it?
Mr. Falano.
Yeah.
Did you get Prof's question?
No.
Okay, so it's asking, your assessment of how Nigerians have been able to make use of social media, for activism. In your days of activism, your days in the so-called trenches, fighting for democracy and everything, how have things changed with the emergence of social media? Have we fully harnessed the potential of social media for activism, or it has sort of reduced, the power of activism in the country?
Well, I would think that social media has been deployed by young people to popularize their positions. If you take the NSAS protest, for instance, young people made it the most organized protest in the history of the country. And contrary to the general belief, a lot of gains were recorded. Today, whenever the police or any law enforcement agency tries to torture Nigerians or extort money from Nigerians, young people have devised means of secretly recording them and publishing this. And many law enforcement officials have been sacked, have been prosecuted based on such publication or exposure of torture or other criminal conduct embarked upon by public officers. The government has also had to react regularly to issues raised in the social media by young people because right now, because of the privatization of the print and electronic media, what you call the main media, because those who own them are the oppressors, those who are exploiting our country. So a lot of information is buried in newsroom. Through the social media, the government is forced to react from time to time to issues raised. However, the dangerous aspect of it is that just as it is very, very, it's be useful in terms of popularizing positions, it's be useful in terms of informing Nigerians about development in the country and outside the country, there are also negative aspects of it, whereby some young people have also sat down in their rooms or in their homes to lie, defame people, blackmail people, those are the areas the security agencies will have to address. But in terms of passing information across, and that has helped, the social media has been very effective to hold government to account, even the hardship protest of last year too. A lot of it was due to, the success of it was due to the efforts of young people have taken to the social media. I'm sure you could recall when children were charged before the Federal High Court, graduated, and that embarrassed the entire world. And the president had no choice but to order the termination of the prosecution of those young people. 11 people are still left in court, but these are not young people, they are adults. We are doing everything to ensure that the case against them is dismissed. But because this publicized, government is bound to react to them, whether in any state or at the federal level. The government is bound to react to issues raised in the social media. The government itself uses the social media. The government engages people to also defend them,
Yeah.
Governments of Nigeria engage people to defend them in the media, in the social media. So it's been useful for the government and the people. The government is going to send out information today. Apart from sending to the print and electronic media, it will also send to all social media outfit that the government has access to. So I believe that the social media, has played a more positive role than negative role.
Yeah, and speaking of activism and democracy, there are those who have criticized the current government, current president in particular. They say, he was in the trenches, struggled for democracy. They say his administration has eroded the values that people fought for at the time. I'd like to get your thoughts on that because you knew him very well back then in the days of the struggle.
When we were involved in the struggle for democracy, we had to engage in physical, activities. If, for instance, we're going to distribute posters, we had to send people from Lagos to different parts of the country. If we had access to social media, it would have been a different matter entirely.
Yes.
And that is what you saw in the NSAS protest. Young people just sit down and mobilize the entire youth in the country, and even mobilize youth outside the country, So while you had the protests in Lagos, Abuja, Ibadan, and other places, you also have protests in Washington, in New York, in London, in Toronto, in Johannesburg, and other places. And that is the power of social media. So the social media, we didn't have this advantage in when we were struggling for democracy. If we had these opportunities, I'm sure, the ruinous reign of military dictators would have ended, much earlier than it did.
Yes, what I'm saying, Mr. Falana, is that with this president, President Bola Tinubu, he was also in the struggle at the time, and there are those who are saying under his watch, the values that was fought for at the time are being eroded. They cite different examples, the children that were tried that you talked about, and also what is unfolding in Rivers. I remember the state of emergency was declared, a few months ago. Looks like a truce has been agreed between Governor Fubara and former Governor YUSUF. As a matter of fact, a local government election is being held in that state presently, and there are those who say, look, a sole administrator should not oversee a local government election. That in itself is an erosion of the values of democracy that President Bola Tinubu fought for in the days of the struggle. What are your thoughts?
Well, I would rather talk about, the development in our country and to ask Nigerians to mobilize to defend democracy. Nothing has changed between 1999 and now. President Obasanjo imposed a state of emergency on Ekiti and Plateau in 2004 and 2006, removed the governors or suspended the governors and other democratic structures. Unfortunately, President Bola Tinubu, who was a leader of the opposition, at that material time. He was even a governor. In 2004, 2006, he lampooned the government for, engaging in anti-democratic, measure, by removing elected governors. The same individual, the same president, the same Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as president of Nigeria, embrace the anti-democratic practice of President Olusegun Obasanjo. And that's not the first time, Nigerians are being charged, critics are being charged with terrorism, which is what is going on now. So, in other words, we are not improving on democracy. But we have to keep up the struggle because in its Democracy Day, this year, in his Democracy Day speech, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was forced to make a statement, which the press has not really promoted, which is that you can abuse me, you can do whatever you like, but I will not be forced to use the state against you. This is regard without prejudice to the law of libel, but it was appealing to political leaders not to use the machinery of the state to continue to embarrass, their critics or critics in the country. So for me, our duty as lawyers, as journalists, as Nigerians is to defend democracy no matter who sucks his God, no matter who is in power at all times. But I think morally, President Bola Tinubu, unlike President Obasanjo or Jonathan or Buhari, was one of the NADECO chiefs abroad and who campaigned for genuine democracy in the country. So morally, is under pressure, to walk his talk, you know. So that is the way I would like to look at it.
Right. Okay, let me go to Barrister to get his final round of questions and comment.
It's already 10:30.
Yes.
Yes.
Final comment, final questions, final round of questions. Barrister?
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Before I let the learned silk go.
Please, can you hear him, Mr. Falano? Can you hear Barrister? Can you hear him?
No, but I tell you, I can't hear him.
Oh,
please.
okay. Don't worry. I'll relay the question to you. I'll relay the question to you. Yeah.
Yes. That before I let the learned silk go, as a social commentator, there is an issue that I would want him to address, and it relates to the operations of the banks. Nigerians are complaining of multiple taxation on their account. Sometime last week, I made some transfers, and what did I say? Federal government transfer fund or transfer fee, value-added tax, and so on and so forth, on one account for every transaction. These deductions are coming in. I don't know if the learned silk has noticed this and what he feels about it, because to me, it appears like extorting money from the people.
Did you get that, Mr. Falano?
No. Please,
Okay, so it's talking about all kinds of charges that come from banks. You know, when you make a withdrawal or make a transaction on your account. So he's asking, you know, what you make of it and whether or not there are ways to address it, possibly, you know, legally as well. There are all kinds of charges.
No, let him know.
Yes.
Let him know.
Yes.
Federal government transfer fee.
Federal government transfer fee. Federal government transfer fee, VAT, and all of that. Yes.
Yeah, we are putting together some of these, what I would call rush of increases on the part of the government, as well as illegal charges by the bank. And we are going to take up these cases, these infractions and infringements of the rights of the Nigerian people. Our people are already down, but the government is mashing them. The banks are mashing them, and this must be arrested as quickly as possible. So one of our colleagues in our law firm is working on, these charges. We want to find out the ones approved by the central bank and the ones that are, imposed by the banks on their own, So we're going to take it up very soon.
Right.
It's not permissible. The government should have done it, but the governments are busy elsewhere. You're also imposing increases, on our people.
Yeah. Just before you go, Mr. Falano, just a quick one before you go. As you know, we are less than 2 years away from 2027. A lot of names have been bandied around as possible candidates, especially in the opposition party. And one of the names people mention is former President Goodluck Jonathan. And people seem to have different opinion as regards his eligibility, given that he has already done 6 years as completing your address term and also doing 4 years as an elected president of the country. So, what's the position of the law regarding this? Because this also might affect Mr. 𝐾𝐈𝐒 that well completed, Governor Akeredolu's tenure and is now in office and might want to seek a second term. What's the position of the law regarding this?
Frankly speaking, I have made this point over and over again, and I'm going to say it again. Under the Electoral Act of 2022, the ban on politics has not been lifted, and it is so unfair to our people for political leaders to start campaigning over 2 years before the election, abandon governance completely. And so if I join in that, what I call a dangerous, trend, I will be supporting what the politicians are doing. Right now, we should be challenging them to face, those who are in power, to face the question of governance.
Right.
Your state, for instance, why should Governor Makinde want to fix the government house for 63 billion naira in the state where you have flooding, you have bad roads, hospitals are not fixed, roads are not fixed? For me, I think these are the issues to challenge.
Right.
The Imo State has just increased minimum wage to 104,000. Ebonyi has increased it to 90,000 naira. From how much? So we must now be talking very seriously. about governance in the country. And why are we getting poorer by the day when the governors and the president or people in Abuja are smiling to the bank? For me, I think these are the issues for now.
Right.
When it's time to discuss politics, we can do that. But we can't have a situation where for 3 years we are discussing, we are campaigning. And that is what is going on. And we are allowing politicians to divert attention from poverty that is, becoming more grinding. We are allowing politicians to divert the attention of our people from insecurity. And we must not be tempted to join issues with them on the basis of who is qualified to contest election, who is not qualified. We're talking of 2027, when people are dying in 2025 out of poverty, out of hunger, unemployment. I think these are the issues for now. I cannot be party to discussing 2027 with profound respect.
All right. Thank you so much, Leonard Silk. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. We appreciate you for sticking with us, even through the communication challenges we had. Thank you so much. Thank you. Right, that's Mr. Femi Falana, human rights activist and human rights lawyer, speaking to us on the podium. Remember, we're live on Facebook, 32FM 949 Fenya. Drop your comment, like, and share the video. You can also call the studio line 0705 5000 949 0906 2000 949 0809 7000 949 to be a part of the conversation. That's 0906 2000 949 0809 7000 949 0705 5000 949 or Facebook 32FM 949. And Prof, when I brought you on earlier, after the ASU conversation, I was hoping you also chime in on it as well, because ASU seem to be gearing up now. They've been quiet for a while. They're gearing up now for a possible strike action regarding the non-implementation of that agreement. I don't know if you caught that statement by the Minister of Education during the week regarding whether they actually have an agreement with the federal government. Prof?
Yeah, it's actually been an item of discussion in many academic fora on WhatsApp. Yesterday, one of the representatives for the ministry actually came out to say that the minister was not suggesting that the 2009 document was not an agreement, but that he was referring to the Yayali Ahmed committee report, which is what they are currently working on, and they are mere just proposals and recommendations, and that the foundation of the current proposal is the 2009 agreement. So if you read many newspapers, they actually reported that the minister made a U-turn, but the representative gave the impression that we were just trying to correct a misinterpretation of what the minister said. But for us in ASU, I must tell you that the university is very restless. Our take-home pay can't take us home anymore. And we thought that we would be sufficiently patient with the government, because the Yayali Ahmed report was officially submitted in February, and the government kept mute since that time. So it took us the restlessness in the university to force them to now tell us that they are now reviewing the document, and that they will now return their preferences back to Yayali Ahmed for negotiation with the unions in the university. So which is the real issue, that if we did not demonstrate and we did not threaten strike, the government would have been keeping the time and then wait until their tenure is over. So the idea is really that they are not committed to running the university effectively, or to seeing that the workers in the university have a fair.
So, Prof, let me get you clearly. It's not like the government has not been paying salaries. What ASU is advocating for now is a full implementation of the agreement in 2009.
No. I think there's a new negotiation of based on the 2009 agreement.
Yes.
Because.
Hello, Prof.
is to,
yes.
of course, you know that there's been devaluation, there's been removal of subsidy, the purchasing power of the naira has gone down. So the principles, are stated in the 2009 agreement. But in terms of current interpretation or bringing it to we're actually dealing with, and the from Nimi Briggs, remember it is not Yali Ahmed report that is the main one. There was the Nimi Briggs report, which was never implemented or taken seriously by the Buhari government. This government did not also want to implement it, and so they set up their own committee, to look into the matter. So we, on the basis of the 2009 agreement, we have both the Nimi Briggs report and then, of course, the Ayali Ahmed report that was submitted in February.
Right. Okay. So let me go to Barrister's constituency as well, because I watched the NBA conference with yes.
Yeah, which is a product of negotiation between the unions and that committee by the set up by the Tinubu government.
Thank you, Prof. Okay, let me go to Barrister, as I said, because I watched the NBA conference with close attention. And I think I played an excerpt of Julius Malema's very powerful speech at that conference, where he talked about, the challenges Africa had in the early days that pushed, the nationalists of that time to, fight for independence and liberation of the African continent. He says that the current condition across Africa right now has also made it mandatory for people to start fighting again, just like we fought in the days of independence against colonialism. He says now we're actually fighting against forces that are impoverishing the people. And he says lawyers have a crucial role in this. Barrister.
Yes, I do agree with you that there are more problems in Africa today than we had in the colonial days. And it is even more worrisome because the pains that are being unleashed on Africans are the instance of Africans themselves. But I wonder how that can work. The proposals put forward by Malema. Look at West Africa, for instance. Look at ECOWAS. For how long ECOWAS has been in existence? What precisely has it achieved? I can find nothing. Free movement of people, go and see how that is going. Free movement of goods and services, go and see how that is working. Look at what is happening in West African states. In one, a president who has served 2 terms, gone for the 3rd, is asking for a 4th, and nobody finds anything wrong with it. Is that their concept of democracy? Trade within Africa remains an illusion. We pollute the markets out with our agricultural approach without coordination. Look at the activities of insurgents and terrorists in Africa. There does not appear to be a unity in these problems. So I find it, just another sweet political talks, that Malema is proposing, because the problems are far more than what I think those proposals can contain.
Let me go to Prof now. Prof, your thoughts, in terms of Malema says it's time for another round of liberation for Africa, but this one we're not fighting against colonial powers, we're fighting against our own leaders. That's just paraphrasing what he says, what he spoke about actually at the MPA conference.
Yes, this will actually be the 3rd liberation movement, because the first was against the colonialists. The second was the 3rd wave of democratization, where we tried to remove the military and dictators and introduce democracy back to many African countries. But what we are seeing now is that having democracy is not the end; it's just actually the beginning, because even the democracy that we have we have to defend it, we have to deepen it, we have to work at it, because there are still Democrats of yesterday who were even in the trenches. Remember, Ouattara fought very hard against
Gbagbo, yes.
and then look at what he's now doing. So it's the same thing we are talking about, our fight against the military, and we say, what are the presidents again now doing? So this is the third move, which will be not just against the military or the institution of democracy, but against civilians or so-called democratically elected president who manipulate democratic process to do whatever they are doing. I think in a recent meeting I had in Accra, we were talking about democracy capture. So we were saying that these new Democrats who are supposed to have been elected by the people have actually captured the institutions of democracy and using those institutions to subjugate the people while pretending to be upholding the democratic process. So Malema is right. But of course, as Barrister has pointed out very clearly, there are serious challenges because it's not only these governments that are leaders that are not Democrats. Even within the lower levels of government and institutions, there's a deficit of Democrats. You can go and look through all the institutions, from universities to local government to state government, you'll find that who run those places don't believe in democracy. They don't uphold democratic processes. Rather, corruption is holding sway. High-handedness is the rule. Witness the kind of code that had just come from the Obafemi Awolowo University. And you ask yourself, are those the major challenges of universities today? Why would they, for instance, say wearing dreadlocks is an offense punishable by 2 or 1 semester rustication? You know, these are spaces of democratic expressions that we see that have been, we see a contraction of democracy in those places. So, and then the worst part is really that, as Falana himself has noticed, democracy has not translated to promoting social and economic rights. People are getting poorer in a democratic system. Even fundamental rights are being abridged. Insecurity is everywhere. So we really need a final or what I call a major liberation from want, from fear, from discrimination, and anything that reduces dignity.
And Prof, does it look like this liberation movement is going to be a lot harder? Because from what you explained, the first phase, we knew who our enemies were, and they were the British, the French, or the Portuguese, or the Spanish, as the case may be. And then against the military, we knew who the enemies were. It was sort of a central battle. But this one, it looks like it's a multifaceted, enemy. So is it going to be a lot harder than those two first phases? Those first two phases, yes.
This one is very challenging, I tell you, Yusuf. You see, when you look around us, you find that what we have is division everywhere along ethnic lines that erode our commitment to democratic values. So you see that democracy says there should be justice, there should be fairness, one man, one vote, we are equal before the law, and then certainly you know that if you are in Ibadan and you are Hausa, your rights will not be as strong as if you are Yoruba. So if you are in the East and you are not Igbo, then your rights will be less than those who are Igbo. So that creates a major problem. And then politicians exploit those divisions by appealing to our sentiments, by appealing to advantages that will accrue to us if we follow those divisive lines. But ultimately, it is ordinary Nigerians that suffer, and we just feed the interests of politicians. And as you said, that's a very difficult thing. Because again, we're also talking about minimalist definition of citizenship. To say that you may not be an indigent, but as a citizen or a resident in Oyo State, what are the rights that you are supposed to be entitled to? That sort of bring us together, regardless of our ethnicity, regardless of our original states of origin, what should be our rights and privileges as residents, as people who work and live in Oyo State, who pay our taxes to the Oyo State government, and what should we get in return. These are things that are not yet defined, and because they are loose and they are not defined, it's very challenging. And what makes it worse is that we do not believe in the rule of law. We are not committed to it. I mean, that's why if somebody commits an offense, instead of us to say, what does the law say, we are interested in where does the person come from. So if the person is from another ethnicity, it seems that the offense seems to be greater than if it was committed by somebody from the local ethnicity. This should not be. There should be a law in the state that applies to everybody. So if you commit an offense, we should treat you according to the law rather than treat you according to where you come from. And we see the same thing play out in Ghana recently when they were saying, it's people from Nigerians that are doing it rather. I said, this is complete nonsense. There is a law, there are laws in Ghana, and anybody who goes against those laws should be treated according to law. But when you leave the law and you start mobilizing identity, then you are profiling. Then you are closing, pretending that such offenses are not committed by Ghanaians. It's only outsiders, that Nigerians that commit those offenses. That would be very far from the truth. I think we should have a sense of commitment to the rule of law, where regardless of who you are, where you come from, regardless of even the country you come from, if you break the law, you're treated according to law, not according to where you come from, not according to your country, not according to your ethnicity. Until we uphold the rule of law, we will not make a headway.
Right. Thank you so much, Prof. Thank you, Barrister. Thank you, dear listener, for sticking with us. We apologize for the initial glitch we experienced while speaking to Mr. Falana. Yes, Barrister. Yes.
Let Prof crack a joke for us.
Prof, okay.
you know the joke when they grant Barrister. Make you not think of joining academy. So you see what thing they happen now. When they talk, say our salary no carry us go home. Then they say now politically that salary they want increase. We they fight for salary increment. They don't give us salary.
Well,
we don't get pension.
No, but
exactly. But we don't chop belly food. They say they want increase their salary. Which can country?
But Barrister, your own profession, you can land a billionaire client, especially during election year. So that's where your own that's where your bounty comes from. All right, thank you so much for joining us on the show. Thanks to my producer Gbolabo from Moscow. We'll be back again next Saturday on the Podium. My name is OLORUNTOBA. YUSUF. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye for now.
The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the guest analyst and do not necessarily reflect the recommendations or perspectives of 32